Roman Reigns and The Rock are officially set to make their return to WWE television on this week's edition of SmackDown. And the tribal chief, the head of the table, has teased this with a huge line to possibly suggest that there could be something big in the works when they do respond to Cody Rhodes, Triple H, and whoever else they're going to respond to. Probably Seth Rollins, I would say, on this week's edition of SmackDown. And what are we talking about? Well, Roman Reigns took to Twitter on Thursday night, and he just, again, set it up on a tee for everyone to speculate about and wonder, what does he mean by this? We know The Rock's been talking about all this stuff. Well, here's what Roman Reigns had to say. Very simple. Tomorrow night, everything changes. And he had a picture of himself and The Rock on the stage at the WrestleMania 40 kickoff event in Las Vegas last week. SmackDown hashtagged there and also tagged The Rock. So you might be wondering, hey, are we making too big of a deal of this? This is just what they do, right? This is what Roman Reigns and The Rock do. Well, I don't know, because we kept saying kind of all along here as this whole thing has played out, you never really know what they're up to because not a lot of us predicted exactly how things were going to play out at the WrestleMania 40 kickoff event with The Rock, going heel here and all these other things. I mean, slapping Cody. None of us probably thought that was going to happen initially. Well, now Roman's teasing not just something big, but like everything. Everything's going to change here. So what's that going to be? We've speculated about it a lot here on the Wrestling Reaction channel. Is it going to be The Rock inserting himself into the main event at WrestleMania 40? And we get the triple threat with Cody Rhodes, The Rock, and Roman Reigns. Or is it something else? Is it as simple as, hey, they're doing this just to hype the tag team match that we all think is coming? I don't know how everything changes if it's just the announcement of the tag team match, but they're going to do something because if we go all the way back, remember, we've talked about this before, everything that The Rock has said about doing something that's never been done before, playing the long game, all this other stuff. Like, what do they have in mind here? That is, there's intrigue. And look, the ratings for this week's edition of Raw, if you go back to them and you see exactly how this thing played out, I mean, there was a huge spike in the number for the Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins segment that took place on Raw with these two just kind of talking about what's the path forward here. Rollins said the key phrase, he's going to, potentially be Cody's shield. Now you've got this setup to where there millions of people are going to be watching to see what The Rock and Roman Reigns have to say here. And again, we saw the WrestleMania 40 trailer, and the trailer was really teasing that you're going to get the tag team match on night one with The Rock and Roman Reigns against Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins. Now it's kind of a situation where, I don't know. I think we're still getting it, but what are they meaning by everything changes? What is this big tease that Roman Reigns has put out? Or is it just a wrestler going over the top? Like we've seen The Rock say stuff that's over the top. Is this just Roman Reigns hyping it to another level, and then we get there and realize, all right, it's just you're basically what you thought it was going to be. Like, could that be the case? Sure. Like, this is pro wrestling. You play everything up for dramatic effect. But clearly, Roman Reigns pushing this forward, and I'm curious to know how this all plays out because they're clearly going to have the response. Remember, all of this was kind of set up from Triple H last week, where Triple H was making it clear he was the guy that was going to make these decisions. It was not going to be made by anybody else. Triple H had a few jabs at The Rock indirectly, saying things like, knowing your role and doesn't matter and all this other stuff. So, we know The Rock's going to have something to say that's probably going to involve Triple H. I wouldn't be shocked if Triple H is on this show as well, potentially, to kind of have that back and forth maybe there. But overall, I mean, a lot of this is going to come down to what are they setting up here? Because remember, too, we're still a little ways away from WrestleMania 40. But I would think at this point, Elimination Chamber's coming up next week. We know that Cody and Seth Rollins are going to be there now. They're going to be part of the segment with Grayson Waller. So we know they're going to have something to say there. And, of course, they'll also, I'm sure, have something to say next week on Raw. But you've got to set something in motion here in terms of, people knowing exactly what you're going to get. Maybe at WrestleMania 40. Maybe they go ahead and announce it. They have time to do this. But I think maybe you could get here that next step in this power struggle we've talked about, in this whole dynamic with the power struggle between Triple H and The Rock. Like, for power in WWE right now. The TKO board member of The Rock, Triple H, the head of whatever, creative, all this other stuff that he is. Yeah, like that's kind of something that they're clearly playing into already. And is that what Roman means by everything changes? Like, they're going to come out and fire Triple H tonight. I don't think that's going to happen, but hey, nothing's off the table potentially in this storyline because they have, seemingly have a lot of confidence in the direction that they're going in. And yeah, I mean, I think this is going to be a lot of fun to see how this all plays out on SmackDown because this is it's going to be huge. I mean, the rating for this SmackDown could be just unlike any we've seen in recent years. I mean, this is going to be a huge thing because this is what we've been waiting for since the slap heard around the world on the stage in Las Vegas. Is what does The Rock have to say as the follow-up now after he and Roman Reigns walk out of the arena, that night in Las Vegas? What do they have to say based on everything we've heard since then? Triple H reasserting his authority, Cody saying that he's going to hit The Rock back, Seth Rollins stepping up and essentially saying he'll be the shield for Cody. Again, of the WrestleMania 40 trailer, everything that's happened. It's been a long, that happened last week, right? Like, it feels like forever, but there's been so many things that have seemingly happened since then with the follow-up, and everything you've had on these two shows, last week's SmackDown and this week's Raw, are all leading to the response from the Bloodline. The Rock, Roman Reigns. Is Roman right? Does everything change tonight on SmackDown? We will find out. Let me know what you guys think. What are your predictions? What are we going to hear from The Rock and Roman Reigns? What's going to be the huge storyline development that takes place on the road to WrestleMania 40? And what do you think? I'm just very curious because there's a lot of predictions out there, a lot of thoughts on what could happen with this huge segment on SmackDown. Let me know what you think. Check out all the other stuff. We've been covering this Rock, Roman Reigns, Cody, Seth Rollins thing. Tons of videos on this over the past week. So check it all out here on the channel. New channel. So hit that subscribe button if you don't mind. Appreciate you guys watching. Always love the feedback and love the interaction. So we just enjoy talking wrestling here. So yeah, let me know your predictions for tonight's SmackDown, the return of The Rock and Roman Reigns.